EcoStreets was a pilot project to inform future projects. As such, it was explorative. We wanted to see what works and what doesn't. It was driven by a bottom-up approach. So we wanted to give the neighborhood what people really wanted. We didn't want to present a finished project and just say, here's what we offer you, take it or leave it. We wanted to have a focus on building up community resilience, so building community as a first step of that. And it was obviously going to be an outreach and education project, so it would have a strong educational side to it. Overall, it was addressing the frustration within ACAN that its reach remained limited despite a large number of active projects in Alton. But we figured it's good to reach out in the community so we don't always just reach the same 100 people. We started the project off by doing a baseline resident survey to find out where the residents stood on the topic of the climate crisis and what their interests were. We also did, concurrently with that, a primary school survey at the local primary school. We introduced the project to the residents by means of a fair at a local green, where we introduced several of ACAN's groups. We had face painting, we had music, we had games. So it was a family-friendly event to make people aware of the project. We offered, over the course of the year, several workshops, both online and in person. And we trialed different things because it was explorative. We did dog walking against climate change. We tried a poetry walk. We had a regular Couple for the Climate meeting to discuss different topics around climate change. We ran a Listen to the Children exhibition based on the answers that we got from the primary school survey and did a photo book to go along with that. We performed a musical play and choir piece, The Web of Life, with a local primary school. We did a wildflower verge in one of the local streets. We did monthly leafletting in the project area, and then in the end of the project we ran another survey. So we tried out a lot of different things, basically throw a lot of things at the community and see what sticks. In the end of project survey, we wanted to find out what was actually effective of all these different things we tried, and we found that the physical things were the most effective. So there was a high awareness of the fair on the butts that we started the project out with, also of the regular leaflets through the letterboxes, and of the wildflower verge we did. We also had a high level of participation in the Web of Life, with around 150 children involved in performing that play and or singing the song. The Listen to the Children exhibition ended up traveling even to different cities than Alton, and we don't know the exact visitor numbers, but we got very, very positive feedback on that. And through the project, we also recruited a local hedgehog champion who then gave a talk to the community, which was very well attended and which we know saved at least one hedgehog's life. So there were a couple of things that really were very effective as far as putting our project out there for the community. What we generally learned through this project was that people are very aware of the climate crisis and that it will affect them personally. So it's not so much a question of having to educate people on the climate crisis. However, there is a clear lack of emotional involvement, especially with the adult population, which means that the actual activity level regarding doing something about the climate crisis remains low among adults. We saw that children are more emotionally affected and are therefore also more likely to take action. Obviously, working together with schools remains key because the children are really the ones who can then also drive the adults to be more active. Also, we learned that creativity and the inclusion of the arts in climate outreach is really vital to increase this emotional involvement of people. because without emotions, the activity level will just remain low, because there's always something else that stirs people's minds more than the climate crisis. What we learned from the children is that they need to feel that their concerns are heard. One of the things they expressed as a fear was the fear that people are just not listening to what's happening to the planet. We helped with our exhibition Listen to the Children, which was an exhibition based on the quotes that we got from our primary school survey. It was not aimed at children, it was aimed at adults to show them the worries of the children. Also, we really need to lift children up and empower them to take positive action. And we addressed this with the Web of Life play, which was centered around positive action, around helping to reestablish balance in the web of life. And again, with a theater play and with music, you can, in a very emotional way, transport this positive emotion to the children. So overall, our conclusions, which we also take along into our next project, are that even in the age of social media, leafletting remained a really important way of outreach. In the end of the project survey, only 10% of the respondents were aware of our social media, compared to almost 50% that were aware of the leaflets. Visible actions like the big fair on the butts we did as an introductory thing, or the wildflower verge, are most efficient in garnering people's attentions. It was also uplifting to see that people are willing to let the climate crisis influence their choices, and they're aware that radical changes are needed. But in both cases, they need assistance. With the choices, they need easy access to the right choices. And with the radical changes, they kind of seem to be hovering around, waiting for someone else to lead the way. So again, leading them on a path towards climate action remains the challenge. A success was that almost a quarter of the people reported that the leaflets they received actually inspired them to take action, which was great. We had the wildflower verge, which was actually really adopted by neighbors who assisted us in their upkeep, which was great. We formed a strong relationship with the primary school, and we had the exhibition outcome and the song outcome of from our work with the children, which was also really great. Also, two of the offers we developed within the project, the dog walking against the climate crisis and the poetry walk, were adopted by the Walk Alton Festival with really good results. And then, of course, we got our hedgehog champions. So there were some very tangible results from this project, and that's what we want to build on in our new project. So for the EcoStreet's New Estates project, creative approaches to climate communication remain definitely an important part of the strategy. We will be looking at creative workshops, at music, at poetry, to get people to develop that emotional involvement with the topic. We will also focus on visible improvements to local natural places, so wildflower verges. We will help people install Swift boxes that will be a focal point, cleaning up the place, litter picks, that sort of thing. We will continue with our regular leafletting throughout the project, and we will also continue with the door-to-door surveys and the personal conversations with residents, because this one-on-one approach, one activist at a time, really proved to be more effective than talking at a group of people. And what we will have more in the center of our strategy in comparison to the last project will be nature topics and things like litter picking, which we will use as an entry point to the broader climate discourse, so sort of gateway activities to get people to engage with us. And then once we've told them about the badges, we can also tell them about how climate change will affect UK wildlife, or like so lead them into the bigger discussion there, but make it a little bit easier and maybe less academic to enter that world of climate crisis discussion by using much loved local nature and wildlife to guide people in there.